All right, welcome back to another edition of Sports Apostle. Here again with CJ.
I waved too early, but hello.
We are here to talk about NBA Game 6 first half.
We going to Game 7. Let's go.
Well, you spoiled it. This was just the first half, but
no,
okay.
We don't
That's
know.
okay.
We don't know yet.
We're posting this after the game's over, so hopefully
So,
you already know that. So spoiler alert on the back end. Anyway, starting off here, going into Game 6, obviously a do or die for Indiana. It's at home, so they get a little home court advantage. So that's good. What do you got? Any initial thoughts?
I mean, I wasn't. You were the one really writing down stats. I was writing down like things that I thought were like, oh wow, that happened. And the first thing I wrote down, and it was the only thing I wrote down for the first quarter, was Pascal Siakam around 7:30 in the first quarter hit a magic layup. Don't know how it went in. Absolute prayer.
And one.
And one, yeah. He got fouled and he just started falling, just kind of threw that
watching
thing.
that live, it looked
Video
like
should
he
be
was
done,
almost under the basket when he threw that up there.
But
But somehow he got that to go in. That was a pretty crazy shot.
Yeah.
So what I noticed was beginning of the game was Indiana was playing better, but they just couldn't hit a shot. They were 0 for the first 8 from the field. Their defense was doing okay. I mean, OKC was scoring, but their offense looked better than it did in Game 5. Looked like they knew what they were doing. Watch out for falling hats. Looked like they knew what they were doing. They just couldn't get a shot to fall for a while, and then they finally hit one. And then they go off for 8 of their next 10.
Yeah, they were 0 for 8, and then after that, they were 8 for 10. So
yeah, OKC had a good start. They came out. They looked like, looked good. They were scoring. Their defense was giving up some shots, but their defense was still playing fairly well. Probably caused some of the misses there with their defense. Looking at this, I think. Now as you start hitting shots. Speaking of finally hitting shots, Halliburton finally hits a shot. I loved his reaction after he hit that 3. He turned around and
finally.
Yes, pretty much one of those, just the weight lifted off his shoulders and just finally made a shot.
I think that was kind of a turning point for them. Like, oh yeah, hey, our star point guard is back. We're still in this. We like. Because I feel like when he wasn't there, they don't click. Like, as a whole team, every other game, they're working together. They're always on the same page, making good passes, and they're winning. And they seem unstoppable. But when he gets injured or they stop working together, stop communicating. Because today, you heard a lot of talking and stuff. But the other day, you didn't really hear any of that.
Well, and he's their playmaker. He gets a lot of assists, and I think in Game 5 with the injury, he was slowed and he wasn't able to move like he's used to. He was a little slower, so he wasn't able to get drive as well. Wasn't able to hit those open guys because he wasn't drawing anybody to him because he just didn't have the quickness with the injuries. And today he was obviously a lot healthier. The other thing I noticed that was T.J. McConnell again coming off the bench, little spark plug that he is. Had an immediate impact, comes in, and he's probably on the court for 30 seconds, gets a steal. It was off OKC got a defensive rebound. They go to outlet it. He threw his hand up, hit the ball, recovers it. Indiana starts coming back down, kicks it to a guy. He hits a 3 right away. TJ's got impact on the game with the steal and 3 points. So that was big. A couple stats from the first quarter. Indiana had 7 points off turnovers. OKC, no points off of turnovers. That's because Indiana did not turn the ball over, but in the first quarter, no turnovers. Big difference from Game 5.
Game 5, they had 7 turnovers in the first quarter.
That's right.
So
big difference there. That made a big difference.
On them about it.
Indiana also had 4 steals and 2 blocks in that first quarter. OKC 0 steals, 5 turnovers, 2 blocks. So
Hartenstein and Caruso, right?
I think Caruso's was later. I don't think his was in the first quarter. I don't remember who got their 2 blocks, but I think Hartenstein was one of them, and I don't remember who the other one was.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the first quarter there. Indiana was up 28-25 at the end of the first quarter. Yeah. Going into the second quarter, Indiana just kind of kept rolling.
Yeah, they were dominating. Like, you had around 11:20, you had T.J. McConnell with his nice spin move again, like he had game 5.
Yes, that was a very nice move.
Around 4:30, Indiana had a nice fast break sequence. It went from I think rebound, saved it from going out of bounds, passed it to him. He passed it back.
No, that was a Halliburton steal. He stole it, saved it from going out of bounds, kicked it to the guy, got back into play. They threw it back to him. He threw it to a guy in the middle who kicked it to the guy in the corner for a 3. Yeah. That was a nice play. It was a good sequence.
And then around 4:16, you had the ghost call where the refs called the foul on Turner or Siakam. I think it was Turner. On Hartenstein, and there was no contact. I'm like, me and you both were like,
no, like
what do you call it?
He barely touched him in the thigh, and
it wasn't. It was a
great challenge by Rick Carlisle in Indiana there to challenge that. It got them possession instead of.
OKC.
Yeah, he would have been shooting 2 free throws, and instead Indiana gets the ball, so that gave him a little momentum there. Instead of, like I said, shooting free throws, they get the ball. Also, these are all first quarter highlights.
No, these are second quarter.
These are all second quarter. Okay.
Then you have at 3, you have Chet Holmgren on Nembhard, and out in my head I'm like, this is a mismatch. This is not going to go well. Why is he ISOing? And then he does a little gets around him and hits a weird layup, scores on him. I'm not good at basketball. Okay, I don't. You get the point. Should be on screen. Just watch that. Don't watch me. And we were both like, well, that was impressive. Didn't expect that from him.
It was a really nice move by Halliburton.
And then
Halliburton really went off in the second quarter.
No, that was Nembhard.
No, Halliburton. Nembhard had been going off since the first quarter. Halliburton really had a really big second quarter. He hit several threes, had that drive, had a couple other drives. So Nembhard was he was hitting from the first quarter. Once they started getting going, Nembhard was hitting the whole game pretty much.
And then you have the 50 from the 50-second mark to the 40-second mark. That was the craziest part of the entire game, where you have Halliburton gets the rebound, passes it to someone, then he gets it back, I think, and then he does this little pass spinny thing to Siakam, and he dunks on Jalen Williams. Just crazy.
Oh, that was the one where. So Halliburton was on offense, thought he got fouled, was on the floor. OKC started going. Halliburton, little complaining to the ref while he's on the floor, gets up. He's late getting down on defense. Jay Williams had the ball up top. Halliburton starts to come into the play, starts to come over towards Jay Williams, and Jay Williams tried to throw it to the wing, and Halliburton was kind of there. What a great pass by Williams. Halliburton steals it, and goes down. I think there might have been a pass there. He got it back. He's driving on the left side. Does a no look to Siakam, and and Jay Williams got posterized. That was a big dunk. That was pretty awesome.
It was nasty, and then you have at the end of the second quarter, you have a buzzer beater from
Siakam.
Was it Siakam?
Yeah, it was a fadeaway over Caruso.
Oh yeah, it was.
Because you called it.
Yeah.
As he was starting to back him down, he's like, now do a fadeaway on his head.
Oh, yeah, I did
Sure
do that.
enough.
I have really bad memory, so, yeah. His is worse.
Mine's supposed to be worse, but...
McCollum.
Anyway.
What did you call him today? Numhart?
It's okay.
Numhart?
I messed up their names, but... So...
He had to write it down on his
Halliburton had a very good second quarter. Under 1 minute, that was the one we talked about that one getting back late. Only 2 turnovers in the first half for Indiana. That is a big difference because they had 11, I think it was, in the first half in Game 5. Yes. They had 7 first quarter and only 2 in the first half. That is quite a difference. Indiana, they were in control. They were under control. They played their game, and they were dictating the game and not reacting to the game. They looked very much under control. Game 5, they looked panicked, unsure of themselves, not sure what they looked like. They didn't know what they were supposed to be doing. And part of that, like you said, was probably a lot of it had to do with Halliburton being healthy versus being hurt. OKC, it was turnovers, and they got out hustled. That was huge part of tonight. Was they just got out hustled and they turned the ball over. They didn't take care of it.
Yeah.
The other part, Indiana at the half, their bench had 19 points. OKC's bench had 3 points. Wiggins had a 3. That was the only points they got off their bench. So Shea for OKC had 15 points, 3 rebounds, 5 turnovers, no blocks, no assists, no steals in the first half. Jay Williams, 16 points, 3 rebounds, 3 turnovers. Again, no blocks, no assists, and no steals for him either in the first half. So, and second quarter, Indiana outscored them 36-17. That was a big. That's really when they pulled away. And yeah, I think that was so I think we touched on all the kind of big things in that half. So enjoy the video. Stay tuned for part 2 when we cover the second half. We'll try to get those posted probably tomorrow morning. Hopefully we'll get those out. So, all right. Till next time.
See ya.